Mindfulness and meditation are not woo-woo. Sharon Hornell's here. Welcome to day 126 of our Supersize Your Business Annual Challenge. We can use these tools because they're tools just like anything else we use in our business to supersize, grow, and scale our business. How is that possible, you may be asking? And if you would have asked me 20 years ago if I was mindful or meditated, I probably would have laughed in your face. Why is that? Because I was busy running through my life, running multiple businesses, raising my family, and basically running around, and I don't have my chicken, but like a chicken with my head cut off. Literally, I was running through my life, not just running, sprinting through my life, up into the point where I had a sudden cardiac arrest and expired it took an unplanned 10-day hiatus that turned into a 6-month cardiac rehab incident, but was lucky and fortunate to be here. Put me in a coma, froze me for 10 days, and then got I call it my Iron Man. My daughter calls it my Iron Man when she was little when this happened. Well, I guess she wasn't little. She was 16, but 16 and almost lost her mom. Lucky for me, I went down to one of my businesses where the bartender knew CPR and could help me to breathe until the paramedics got there, and they jump-started my heart and all kinds of things ensued in that. But basically, I was in a coma and slept through the whole thing, so I don't really remember a whole lot of the outside goings on. But that taught me, and that's when I really went on the journey in earnest to find different ways of running my businesses and living my life, because what I was doing was obviously not sustainable. And it was a gigantic wake-up call to say, all right, you need to figure out what life is really about. It's definitely not what you have been doing up until this point. Now, I had actually started my personal development journey prior to that. I just wasn't really doing it in earnest, right? I was just looking for ways to give me a competitive edge in my career. I was working in corporate America while simultaneously running businesses on the side, raising a family, etc. So if you tell me you're busy, you're too busy to meditate for 5 or 10 minutes a day or to spend a quiet 5 minutes a day, I'm going to call bullshit, because I don't think anybody was busier than me when I started to look into these modalities. And I found ways to build them into what I was already doing and in my life. I started listening to things, not meditations maybe, but not hypnosis or anything like that in my car. I don't think I discovered hypnosis until after I had my sudden cardiac arrest. But before that, I was listening to things on tape. I was listening to Louise Hay. I was listening to Wayne Dyer. I was listening to different people that had programs out at the time. When I was still in corporate America and driving to and from work. And I would say Louise Hay and her affirmations probably where my actual journey began, if I think back to then. But let's talk about mindfulness and meditation and how you can use them to your strategic advantage in your business and also in your life, by the way. Meditation does not equal woo-woo. It does not equal a hairy-fairy type of technique or technology. It's just quieting your mind for 5 minutes a day, or how many ever long you need. You really only need 5 to 10 minutes to meditate and be mindful in any given day to see a significant positive difference in your thinking. You're thinking more clearly. I'm not going to go through all the things because I want you to practice this or try this for the next 7 days and see how it impacts you. I will tell you, there's something called silent meditation. And to me, whenever I learn a new tool or new modality, I will try it the way the teacher is teaching it, and then I mess it all up and I make it my own. I don't know if you know yet, but I'm sort of a rule breaker. I take everything I read, everything I learn, and then I ask myself, well, what does that mean to me? What does that mean to my businesses? And then how can I use this in our favor? And if I can't, I might stick it aside and put it in my subconscious somewhere until such time that I can use it. But I would contend every single one of us can use 5 minutes of quiet meditation or mindfulness every single day, especially as the world gets busier and busier and faster paced, and there's more noise and more things vying for our attention. We own our attention. We decide how we're going to spend that. I said in the Supersize You challenge, maybe you have to sneak into the bathroom and lock the door for 5 minutes to get your 5 minutes in. Do whatever it takes to do this. Now, there's different things we do in my businesses. We actually start our meetings with 60 seconds of quiet pausing. Everybody's got their phones put away. Everybody is just sitting calmly and quietly before we start the meeting. We've got the agenda. We've got all these things. But I have found by doing that one thing, it has made our staff meetings much more pleasant, much more treating one another the way we should be treating one another, and a lot less volatile and highly emotionally charged. I'll put it that way. So that's another thing I would challenge you to do. Now, depending on your organization, that might be too woo-woo for you to start at. So just do the 7 days of 5 minutes of meditation and quiet time. All you have to do is sit quietly. Meditation, mindfulness doesn't have to be complicated. It's just about being present with yourself and figuring out what the heck's going on inside of you. Because guess what? Everything we create on the outside comes from inside of us initially. All of our ideas, all of everything you see, if you look around you right now, started out as an idea in someone's mind, a thought. And that's why this is such a powerful technique and strategy. You have got infinite possibilities inside you and inside your mind already. It's just a matter of having a way to tap into those. And the only way that happens is if you sit and quietly reflect for a few minutes a day. It's so simple and it's free, right? It doesn't cost you anything to sit quietly and be with yourself for 5 minutes, right? Does it cost you anything? No. That's why it's so powerful. I think that's probably why people didn't teach it, or maybe people taught it, but it just wasn't on my radar because I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't open to it 20 years ago, but I sure am now. I actually belong to a hypnosis, meditation, manifestation community, and I participate in it every day. Why? Because it helps me considerably. So if you're resistant to this, if you're calling BS or poppycock, or if you're too busy, I will say that I probably never even had enough mental capacity or room in my life 20 years ago to even consider something like mindfulness or meditation. I think it's much more mainstream nowadays. And there's probably 1,000 apps on your phone that have little timers, or just use a timer app, or use an actual timer on your phone or your watch, or I have got a little tomato timer my daughter got me that I use. And I just set it. I'm up to 7 minutes. That's really kind of sad to admit after how long I've been doing the whole silent meditation thing. But that's the point where I like get antsy. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Mainly it's because something will pop up into my subconscious that I don't want to address right then. And so that's usually why I quit. That seems to be my quitting point. I want to work my way up to 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes would be optimal for just Zen, peace, and quiet. I was trying to play my singing bowl at the beginning. My daughter got me that as a gift, which I love because it raises our frequency and the energy that we have to show up in the world with. So what are we going to do today? Share in the comments below. Do you meditate? Do you practice mindfulness? Yes or no? And if you do, what is one way that it has benefited you and your business? Share in the comments below so we can learn from one another. Otherwise, go out and make an amazing day. If you need anything, ask. I would love for you to invite me. I would love to invite you to join me in our free Supersize Your Business school community. If you don't know what that is, I'm telling you, hands down, I love it. I am moving everything I do to the school platform because I can do everything I want to do for my businesses at this point on that platform. But I will always have a free community for people to get a taste of what I do and how I share and all of the business goodies that are there for each and every one of us. I don't think I've got anything on meditation or mindfulness in there yet, but there will be in the classroom. If you are curious about that, just write Supersize in the comments below and I will send you the link to that. I like to invite people one at a time because I like to vet who's coming in. We want to keep it a high energy, positive focus community where we help one another grow our businesses and scale. All right. I wish you an amazing day. Of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye.